Hi there, my name's Antony Sammeroff. I'm a relationship coach and communication trainer. And based on requests, I wanted to make a video on people with aggressive and manipulative personalities. And in my work, I deal with a lot of people who want to improve relationships in their life and who have to deal with people who've got manipulative or aggressive tendencies, and they wonder why people in their life act that way, because it seems like, why can't it just be nice? Why can't we just talk about these things and air it out and hopefully engage in a problem solving process to reach solutions? Why are these people acting this way? Because it could just be so nice, it could just be so productive, and I'm willing to engage, but they're not. And I think it's really important to understand that there's a sort of passive tendency and an aggressive tendency, and I guess the manipulative tendency tends towards the aggressive side, although it's more covert. And it's not the same as being passive aggressive. Some people with a more passive tendency will be passive aggressive because they don't feel comfortable going forth and saying what's annoying them or what's upsetting them, so they'll express it by being passive aggressive. I'm doing other videos dealing with that, you can check them out. But let's talk about why people act aggressively or manipulatively. And usually it's because on the face of it, it kind of seems to work. When you get aggressive, passive people back down and start being pleasers, and they'll do what you want them to do. And you can also manipulate people into doing what you want to do. And that gives you a rush of power. And it's a lot of the time people who feel powerless do that. They get manipulative or aggressive because they feel power over people, which they don't tend to feel in the relationship to themselves. They feel powerless because they have a dialogue that says bad things about them, and they have to push it away by the 3 B's: blaming, bitching, and berating. Berating is putting people down. That's how they stop taking responsibility for their life, and they blame other people for their problems. So these people feel powerful when they use these tactics, whether it's aggressive or manipulative, because they're right, or at least they get the feeling that they're right. So the benefits are very obvious. So when I'm working with people, and I sometimes have people who are more on the aggressive side come to work with me because it's fucking up the relationships. People don't want to spend time around them, or they have no intimacy in their relationships. And I get that. They're much harder to work with, and a lot of the time it takes more time for them to change, because if you're passive, you can very easily see the way your tendency shortchanges you. You lose out on things. You agree to do things you never wanted to do, and then you feel guilty for not doing them. You're pushed around by people. Whereas people with the aggressive tendency, it's very easy to see the benefits of their habit pattern, of their personality type, but the costs are hidden. What are the costs? Intimacy. That's the main cost of it. You cannot be intimate with people you consistently bully into doing what you want to do. Also, people don't bring things up with you because they're afraid of your reaction. They think it's too much hassle. So you lose out on the opportunity to engage with people and optimize the relationship. The relationship standard tends to be a lot poorer than for people who can talk it out. And passive people in relationships together can talk things out to a degree. They may avoid it for a long time, but sooner or later they might get there and they have a conversation and they're like, yeah, I'm so glad we had this conversation. Yeah, let's improve things. And then often they go back to their old tendency and they close up the dialogue. Whereas people with aggressive tendencies, they're very defensive. Anything you say brings up feelings that root in their past. Whenever anyone had a problem with them, it was always broached in a punitive manner. So when you're aggressive or manipulative, you can get people to do the things you want to do, but actually you're losing out on a lot. because your relationships could be a lot better, they could have a lot less arguments, and also you miss out on the honesty that people can bring to a relationship to really nurture it and make it grow by finding out things about each other and finding out how you love to interact together and doing more of that. So if you're dealing with people who are manipulative or aggressive, they might be really nice people in other contexts. I've met people in my life who are more on the aggressive tendency, who can be very generous. But whenever you broach a conflict with someone with that kind of tendency, it's really important to stage the event, which is to say, hey, I've got an issue that I'd really love to discuss with you. It's not a big deal or a deal breaker, but it's important to me, and I think it's important to you because we value our relationship together. And it would be really great if we could sit down and have a chat about it. And if they're being defensive, then you can use the skills that I suggest in my other videos. One very popular video I've done is on how to deal with unreasonable people. You can use the techniques I suggested in that. Another one I've done is called Can Empathy Be a Learned Skill? Check out those videos, get really good at practicing those tactics with safe people, and then bring them to the aggressive person, because that can really help you diffuse them. But have the conversation with them. Have the conversation and say, look, when we get into conflicts, I feel that your way of communicating is very defensive and very aggressive, and I feel that lowers the quality of a relationship. And if they get defensive, use the diffusion techniques I've taught in my other videos and get them to a point where they can hear it. Say, I'd really like to enjoy a really great relationship with you, and if we can have an open dialogue back and forth, then we can really start to meet our needs in the relationship and use every conflict as an opportunity to come closer together, both get more of what we want out of the relationship. And the great thing is, if you can manage to get through to one of these people, their tendency to be manipulative or aggressive will lower, because the benefits of intimacy, the benefits of honesty are so much more rewarding than bullying people into doing what you want or manipulating them. So you can use these tactics to see if this person really has worth in your life and whether they have the potential to change and become more than they are. And if they start seeing the benefits of acting that way, then they'll be much more likely to embrace that style of you. Of course, it's not your responsibility to change anyone or make them better than they are, but if you think they're a valuable person, it's worth giving it a shot. And if they get that from you, then you're modeling a different kind of interaction that they may well want to bring forth in the rest of their life. So be patient. Try these techniques with them. If they're not willing to be helped, it's time to think about whether it's really worth having that person in your life. If they're not willing to engage and improve, maybe alienating that person from your social circle might be the best thing you can do for them, because it might take a month or 3 months or a year. Once it's happened to them 5 or 6 times, they might remember some of the things you've said, because you really can't unhear something. So give it a shot. If you would like some help putting this process into action, I am available for personal consultations. Email me at enrichyourlife@outlook.com and let's have a chat about it and see if I can help you. Let me know what you think of this video. If there's anything I can do to improve these videos, because that's something I'm trying to do, get better at doing them, then let me know, and I would love to speak to you personally. I'm not just putting this stuff out to speak to my camera. I really want to connect with people out there in internet land. So send me an email, put up a YouTube comment, share it on your Facebook wall, and let's see what we can do to make the world a more harmonious place and enrich our lives and relationships. Good night.